Harry's Wife, Part 101.22. Why does she keep touching her hair? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. No doubt, as you've been waiting to watch another excellent video from the unrivaled expert on narcissism, you've all been ensuring that your belts are on the inside of your clothing because that's how you properly wear a belt. Also, ensure that your shoes are one size too large for you, so you can do an impersonation of Daisy Duck wandering around in oversized clodhoppers. One thing that often comes up is the issue of Harry's wife and her hair. And as you listen to the chocolatey, velvety tones of your glorious narrator, you're treated to a parade of instances of Harry's wife touching her tresses, caressing her locks, running her fingers through her straightened hair. And, whilst I talk, you'll also see excerpts of the video footage from the Windsor walkabout showing the number of instances where she does indeed touch her hair, move her hair, play with her hair. Why does she do this? It's a question that has come up repeatedly. Remember, when it comes to understanding the behaviours of the narcissist, you need to look at it through the prism of the narcissist's narcissism. Many people make the mistake, an honest one, but a repeated mistake, of looking at the behaviour through their own worldview. It's understandable why you do this. It's your view. It's what you've been used to for a number of decades on this planet. And when you come across a narcissist, you don't realise you're dealing with one, and you invariably assess their behaviour through your own world lens, i.e., believing that they see the world in a similar way to you. Accordingly, you will have often found yourself saying, I don't understand why he did this. If it had been me, and this had occurred, I would have then gone and said that. You're expecting the narcissist to behave like you. It's understandable, but wrong. The narcissist, of course, when it comes to the interactions with other human beings, is governed by the narcissism and the pursuit of the prime aims, not what governs your behaviour, which is emotional empathy. It's important also to make the distinction that our narcissism is never suspended or part-time when it comes to dealing with other people. It's always there. So there aren't moments of the narcissist being genuinely kind towards somebody else. It's the narcissism generating an appearance of kindness in order to assert control over that individual, draw fuel from them, and perhaps character traits and residual benefits. The narcissist just does not do an act of kindness without there being something behind it, because our narcissism does not allow that to be the case. There's no altruism with a narcissist. There are, of course, instances where a narcissist will do certain things which are nothing to do with the narcissism. So, for instance, if I'm thirsty and I pour myself a drink, that's nothing to do with my narcissism, that's me hydrating. If I find myself feeling cold, I throw another minion on the open fire to ensure that the cavernous confines of Tudor Towers are warmed up. That's got nothing to do with my narcissism feeling cold and needing heat. Of course, me throwing a minion on the fire is an assertion of control over that minion and devaluing them. But in more conventional situation, if I was to make an adjustment by turning the heating on, and it's just for me, that's nothing to do with my narcissism. That is me keeping myself warm. When it comes to Harry's wife and the touching of the tresses, the caressing of the locks, there are 3 reasons why she does as she does. The first is a simple one. There are occasions where her hair gets in her eyes, and so she just moves it to one side. And that's similar to the situation of, if I'm thirsty, I pour myself a drink. So when she moves the hair out of her eyes, it's because it's got in the way. And there's nothing more complex than that. In other instances, Her hair might be utilised for the purposes of triangulation with another person. Where she is in a situation of control, there are no threats to control, she may well fluff her hair, shake out the locks, in the tried and trusted way of the secretary in the porn movie taking off her spectacles and then shaking out her hair, so the boss goes, "But why, Miss Jones, you're gorgeous." In such circumstances, she's in control. There is no threat to control, and where she does that, perhaps shaking it out in a provocative way, or possibly looking coyly from beneath her fringe, her bangs, if she were to have them, and then moving the hair as if to move it out of her eyes, that is being done to triangulate the person that she's with this particular gesture. It's similar in the way that she might bite her bottom lip or lean in closer to somebody. She is in control, and she's continuing to assert control using her hair. She's in effect showing off. So, as you can see in the pictures, there's a picture of her, I think, with one of her friends. I'm not sure if it's Jessica Mulrooney, where she's wearing a blue dress and she's standing confidently with one hand in her hair. There, she's triangulating the photographer by showing off her hair. She's in control. There's no threat to control in that moment. So there'll be instances where she plays with her hair in a more playful, provocative manner, which is about the triangulation of the individual that she's dealing with to continue the assertion of control. The third instance, where Harry's wife is always touching her hair, relates to the instance of threat to control. Where she's been wounded or she's being in the receipt of challenge fuel, both of those instances threaten her sense of control. And as you know from my extensive work, the narcissism's job is to galvanize her, to motivate her to take steps to stop that threat to control. This might be by making her envious, hateful, flirtatious, infatuated, offering some spicy poontang. Lots of different ways in which this can happen. However, when she's experiencing that threat to control, it will invariably create a sense of nervousness in her, vulnerability, anxiety. She doesn't know that this is as a consequence of the threat to control because she's an unaware narcissist, but that's how it manifests in her. In a much earlier video, I explained why does she flutter her eyelashes a lot, why she's often blinking. And I'd encourage you to go and watch that, as it will share similar insight for you. The instances where she plays with her hair so often is as a consequence of her experiencing a threat to control, and therefore, essentially out of nervousness and anxiety, she plays with her hair. It's a tell of her anxiety. It's a tell that she's experiencing a threat to control. Often, body language experts will tell you that it's a gesture of self-soothing, and that's accurate when you're dealing with a non-narcissist, that where somebody is feeling anxious, they'll play with their hair in order to comfort themselves. With Harry's wife, that isn't the case. She's not playing with her hair to comfort herself. What's happening is that is the manifestation of the threat to control, which creates anxiety, which causes this instinctive response to touch her hair. When you see her doing that in certain instances, you will now know that she's experiencing a threat to control, and she will then do something, perhaps, for instance, grab hold of Prince Harry, or give a compliment, or maybe withdraw from the situation, or shove herself in front of Prince Harry and start talking to other people, in order then to get that control, and the hair fiddling will stop for that moment. Of course, there'll be instances where it comes back again and again and again, and that's because she experiences a threat to control. It creates the anxiety, which causes that knee-jerk response of playing with the hair. She gets the control, moves on to the next moment. A little bit later, there's another threat to control that occurs. I know that some people have opined that in the Windsor Walkabout, part of the messing around with the hair was to conceal the fact that she was wired for sound. I don't see that that holds up, because as you'll see in the various instances I've shown you, a lot of the time it's not sweeping the hair over to the left-hand side, but it's more to do with just running her fingers through it, touching it, brushing it, rather than a wholesale movement of it. The fact is, she plays with her hair, Sometimes because it gets in her eyes, and that's nothing to do with her narcissism. In other instances, she does it because she's in control and she plays with her hair as a triangulating move towards the appliance that she's dealing with. And more often, it's a tell of her anxiety that's being generated by a threat to control. Now you know. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.